Hi, my name is Stephen Ram Kissun. I'm a TVET international professional consultant with more than 20 years experience working in different situations, both in senior management roles, working for large organizations, corporates, for independent providers, for a trade body, very much in the skills arena, looking at social mobility, widening participation, engagement, and equality and diversity. Yeah, unfortunately, ageism is here, and I don't think people. It's yet one of these another isms, we have to contend with, and ageism in terms of older workers and the mindset. I've often seen, that people you get written off because they just think that you don't have the attributes or skills. I don't think people are aware of ageism, age discrimination, or whether you're talking about an older worker or even a younger worker, and not knowing what they bring to the table. Have I experienced it? I may have experienced it in a kind of indirect way. When I've applied for jobs, I haven't overtly disclosed my age, either in terms of sometimes my experience gives me away, because then I'm thinking, well, if this person's a graduate and he graduated last 30 years ago, then they start to work out. So sometimes I have to phrase the narrative in a way that doesn't reveal my age. Because sometimes they ask, they ask you if you're a graduate, when did you graduate? And then you used to say, I graduated in 1980. Then suddenly they think, well, this guy must be quite old then. And sometimes they may influence their decision process, although we'll never tell you that. I try not to think about it, to be honest, because if I ever do, I've tried not to make sure that doesn't hamper my views or hamper my determination to get a job or the job that I'm doing. I would like to think so, yes. In terms of under the banner of diversity, inclusion, and equality, then yes, I would think so. I think having that whole broad spectrum of age, experience, color, gender, ethnicity, I think they're all important. And I think, older workers can bring a lot to the table. I don't think so. I've not seen it. There's been a lot about, rightly so, and I applaud it in terms of diversity and inclusion, intersectionality, but I haven't seen, although whether ageism would fall under intersectionality, but I think it should be included and it should be made as part of that kind of whole diversity spectrum. It should be in a way that should be readily available, whether you're doing it from distant learning or part of your corporate delivery to your workforce. I think it should be done by the employer's responsibility, and it should be under the banner of your DEI policy in terms of diversity, inclusion, and equity. You need to demonstrate that. It's all very saying, yes, we do all this, and here's our policies. But action speaks louder than words, both in terms of looking at your workforce and the type of workforce you've got. I think a good example would be if you look at a retailer like the DIY chain B&Q. They went through a process of recruiting older workers, many of whom who were either self-employed from the construction industry, and they had a wealth of experience and knowledge. Just to say, you may find an older worker has encountered those similar challenges that a younger worker may not have known what to do. So you're sharing your insight and experience. You're bringing a degree of gravitas and nous in terms of maybe you should try this approach and see what happens. Or your pitch, you're making the wrong assumption. You're pitching to a CEO who may be much older than you and may not take too lightly because of the way you've come across and being flippant. And again, you make the point, I grew up in a multi-age generational family, and especially in Eastern cultures, we were told to respect our elders. So that's kind of permeated to me. So I will show due respect to an older worker purely because of who they are and their expertise and their age, and I will welcome. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I hope it will help you in your project.